Negative h equals positive 10. There is no number in front of h. Does anybody know what happens if there's no number in front of h? Jacob? We put a 1. That's exactly right. There is an invisible 1 there. So we have in front of h an invisible 1. So this is actually a negative 1 times h equals positive 10. So what am I going to do? Divide. What am I going to divide by? 10. Not by 10. What's being multiplied by h? Negative 1. Why do we divide by a negative 1? Because negative 1 divided by negative 1 gives me positive 1. So we have just h equals positive 10 divided by negative 1. Negative 10. So let's check it. Negative h. What does h equal? Negative 10. So we have negative times negative 10 equals positive 10. I have minus and negative. What happens there? It all becomes positive. So we have positive 10 equals positive 10. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. So we got the correct answer. Watch out. It's a word problem.
Alright, I got it.
Example 8. 5 large pizzas cost $60. How much is one pizza? Okay, so the first thing we have to do whenever we have a word problem is we have to define the variable. So what are we looking for?
Pizza.
Pizza. So what do you want to make the variable for pizza?
P.
How about P? So P equals the cost of one pizza. So P is the cost of one pizza. So we need to write an equation for this. 5 pizzas cost $60. If the cost of one pizza is just P, how do I represent the cost of 5 pizzas? 5P. 5 times P equals, how much did it equal? $60. Okay, now what do? We have 5 times P equals 60. What do I do to solve for P? Jacob, what do? I divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 gives me 1, so I'm left with just P equals 60 divided by 5? 12. 12 what? Dollars. So the cost of one pizza is $12. We have example 9 now. So I want you to solve this and graph on a number line. And these number lines are correct because I drew them myself. Okay? Alright, so I have negative 2x equals positive 4. The first thing I want to do is solve this. How do I solve it? Who's in 36? Brandon, how do I solve it? Exactly. I divide both sides by negative 2. So I have negative 2 divided by negative 2. What does that give me? 1. So what am I left with on the left-hand side? X equals what? Who's in 39? Alana. X equals what? Positive 4 divided by negative 2? Exactly, negative 2. So we have x equals negative 2. The first thing I want to do before I graph this is I want to check it. Because I don't want to graph if I have the wrong answer. So how do I check my answer? 14. Judy, how do I check my answer? I plug in negative 2 for x. So I have 2 times negative 2. And I want that to equal positive 4. 2 times negative 2. What does that give me, Emily? Positive 4. Positive 4 equals positive 4. Everyone, is that a true statement? Yes. So we got the correct answer. Now we need to graph it. So I know that I'm going to put a dot at negative 2. That I know. What kind of dot am I going to put? Who's in 16? Absent. 15. Bree, what kind of dot am I going to put? A solid dot at negative 2. Am I going to have a line? No. No line because it's just equal to. So this is what my graph should look like. Okay, example 10. 3p less than or equal to positive 6. Try that one on your own and graph it, please. Okay. All right. 3p less than or equal to positive 6. What do I do first? Who's in seat number 6? Darren, what do I do first?
Divide by 3 on both sides?
Exactly. I divide both sides by 3. You said it perfectly. 3 divided by 3, everyone, what does that give me? 1. So everyone, what is on the left-hand side? P. Less than or equal to what? Who's in 25? Steven. P less than or equal to what? P is less than or equal to what? 6 divided by 3 is? 2. Okay, so I have p less than or equal to 2. Before I graph that, I want to check it. How do I check that I got the correct answer? Who's in 12? Maria, how do I check that I got the correct answer? I plug in 2 for p. Can I plug in 2? Yes, why? Because it's less than or equal to. So I can equal 2, correct? So we're going to plug in 3 times 2 less than or equal to 6. 3 times 2 is? 6 less than or equal to 6. Is that true? Yes, it is. Okay, so now I need some people to tell me how I graph this. Who's in seat 4? Bethany. I'm going to put a dot at positive 2. I know that. Is it solid or open? It is a solid dot. And this time we have an arrow. We have less than or equal to positive 2. So, who's in 34? Not here. Okay, 37. Marco. So, which direction is my arrow pointing? To the left. Very good. Is that what everybody got? Yes? Who got this correct? Give yourselves a hand. Example 11. Y over negative 4 equals positive 3. You need to graph that as well. Alright guys, so we have y divided by negative 4 equals 3. So what am I going to do to solve for y? Who's in 32? Savannah, what do I do to solve for y here? Exactly. We are dividing by negative 4 in this problem, so to get rid of it, we do the opposite. So we multiply by negative 4. Okay, so positive. Okay, negative 4 divided by negative 4. Everybody, what does that give me? 1. So we have y on the left-hand side equals, y equals what? Who's in 28? Jacob, y equals what? Exactly, y equals -12. Now before I graph this, I want to check it. How do I check my answer? 38. Noah. No, wait. Noah's not 38.
I'm 28.
Adriana's at 38. How do I check? I got y equals -12. How do I check that that answer is correct? Okay, good. So to check my answer, I'm going to plug in -12 for y. So I would have -12 divided by -4 equals +3. We don't know yet, but that's what we want. And everybody, what's -12 divided by -4?
3.
+3 equals 3. Is that a true statement? Yes, so we have the correct answer. Now I need to graph it. So I know that I'm going to have a dot at -12, but is it solid or open? Who's in 42's not here? Who's in seat 40? Callie. Is my dot going to be solid or open? It's going to be solid because we can equal -12. And do I have an arrow on this one? Who's in 27? Tristan, do I have an arrow on this one?
No.
No arrow because it's y equals, so it's only at this point, so we are done. That's our graph. Oh. Okay, last example. -k over 2 equals -5, and you need to graph that as well. All right, so this one is a little bit trickier. We have -k over 2. The negative is on the outside. But what am I going to do to get rid of it? Who's in seat 3? Lissa. What am I going to do to solve for k?
Multiply 2 by -2.
Exactly. I'm still going to multiply both sides by -2. Because the negative is on the outside, it actually doesn't matter if the negative goes to the top or to the bottom. But either way, we're still going to have to get rid of it, right? We still need to have a positive 1k on the left. So -2 divided by -2 gives me what? Positive 1. So we're just left with k equals -5 times -2, everybody?
10.
Positive 10. All right, let's check this. How do I check that I got the answer correct? Who's in 24? Not here. Seat number 8. Also not here. Ooh. Seat 31. Also not here. Oh my gosh, the pressure is building. 10. Paula, how do I check this answer?
You have to plug in like 10 for k.
Exactly. I plug in 10 for k. So I have negative on the outside, right? 10 divided by 2. And we want that to equal -5. Okay, everybody, 10 divided by 2 gives me? Positive 5. And what happens to that negative? It stays. Equals -5. Is that a true statement? Yes, it is true. So we got the correct answer. Okay, so now I know that I'm going to have a dot at positive 10. Is it going to be solid or open? Who is in seat 41? Aaron. It is going to be a solid dot at positive 10. And what about my line? What about my line? Who's in seat 29? Noah. Okay, do I have a line here? I do?
No.
No, why not? Okay, why do I not have a line? Who's in 33? Okay, why do I not have a line? Because it's just an equal sign.